Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be discussing, not this, Wobble on your stock. Now this actually is my APFG Spear LT 11-inch, and this stock is not meant for this actual replica. This actually is a stock from my XM5 from Toxicant. I switched them over, put the stock that is normally on the Toxicant, and actually for now I'm just keeping this on here. But I thought this is actually a good opportunity just to show you guys how I get rid of stock wobble. This is a folding stock. It doesn't really matter which stock you're talking about, as long as you have a AR style kind of stock tube, whether that is actually with a bolt, with the spring and the bolt inside it, or if that is just a hollow one like this is. I'll show you this actually. This is really stiff to do. This folds, so if this is on here, you can see, if I can put it on, you can see if I fold this on here. So this is going to lock in place. It's in place there. If I want to click it out, it's there. But really what I'm trying to get rid of is this wobble that you're going to get in your stock. And I have quite a good, clever way, I think, of doing that. So I thought I'd take you through that quickly. So the main thing you need to do is to get rid of the space between the stock and the stock tube. And how I do that is by removing the stock from the actual stock tube. We can lay that to one side, and that can be quite difficult depending on the stock you have, but generally on this one, as you can see, there is like a little catch here. When I move this, it's going to open the catch, which allows me to adjust the length of it, so it's going to click into different places. With that one, if I pull this down fully, that kind of goes halfway down. If I pull it down fully with both fingers, I can move that off the actual stock, and that gives that to me in that position here. Now what I use is this. There are lots of different brands of this, but this is actually your adhesive Velcro. Now how it comes is you have the male and the female end, if that's what you want to call it, the kind of one with hooks, and then the one which is kind of foam. You're only going to need one of these, and that is going to be this one, which is the one with that kind of just foamy surface. And what we're going to do is put a strip of that inside this. So it's going to reduce the actual space that is there, and it's going to make it a lot more solid so you don't get that stock wobble. Really annoys me, stock wobble. I don't know if you're the same, but it's kind of like your entire replica feels solid. I like to put something between my upper and my lower to keep all of that solid together. And then suddenly you put the stock on and it's jiggling all over the place. Like, there's nothing nicer feeling than a AR or whatever style replica you have, having that feel solid in your shoulder as opposed to having it wobbling around. So what I'll do here is, you can see the length of this. Sorry if I do it here. You can see the length of this. That is how that's how far back the stock tube's going to go. However, I'll probably go about 2/3 of the way. I'll measure that and I'll be like, right, that should be a good enough length where if the stock tube's in there, it's going to kind of hold in position. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this, get a good flat cut on that. And as you can see on the back here, it has this Velcro branded kind of, what do you call it? Just adhesive, like the piece of plastic that is covering the adhesive. When I remove that, it's going to be a sticker underneath, which is why it's this adhesive. I'll put a link to this below as well, so you guys can just go down there, click on it, and then you've got your way of buying the exact same one that I have, so that then you can know that you're going to get the right one. Because I definitely think it's quite hard sometimes when you're on Amazon. This is where I buy nearly everything. Looking at different things like how big is it? What's the size of it? What's the diameter? This one is perfect because I think I bought a couple of these prior to actually finding the one that works. So I'll take that adhesive off, and then what I'm going to do is thread this just down through here. I'm going to basically try and make sure that that plastic, or the sticky part, is not touching there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to seat this, try and do it kind of straight. I'm going to seat that just on the edge. So you want it just on the inside of the edge, like there. So you've basically not got it poking out the end. But I'm just going to put that against there. And then what I'm going to try and do, and this isn't actually that important, but I'm going to try and just make sure that this is running straight the entire way down. So you can see there. So I'm just going to kind of push my finger down, If it is off to one angle, it's not going to make that much difference depending on the stock you've got. Now, I do this nearly always with my AR buffer tube style stocks. That's what it is. It's not the bolt, it's the buffer, which I was saying earlier. I'm like, oh, when the bolt is in the stock tube, it's the buffer in the buffer tube. This one obviously doesn't have that, but it's not going to make a difference. If you have your AR base, that's just going to be closed at the end there, and then there's going to be a buffer inside here. You're probably not going to have it folding unless you have some kind of special stock tube, but it's going to be the same. And so what I'm going to do is just put force against this. I'm not going to do it because I want to show you guys what it's going to be like when it's on, but you probably want to leave it for 5 minutes just so that adhesive kind of finds its way, kind of sticks down properly, as opposed to you kind of forcing it in. But I generally want it fairly close to the edge there so that I can just kind of put the buffer tube in there. I don't really want any any Velcro sticking out the end, but that is kind of where I'll put it. So you can see there, it's the whole way down. I actually got that pretty straight, but sometimes it can kind of kilter off to the side. I've had that, it doesn't really matter. If it is, you can just rip it out, get another one. This is 20 feet's worth, so you're probably going to have enough here to do quite a few buffer tubes. I don't think it's that expensive, maybe like $20-30. So what I'm going to do now is pull down on this, the actual piece that's going to lock it into place. If you hear that dog barking, that's George. If you're a member of the channel or you've been here for a long time, you know exactly who George is, because he was on a lot of unboxing channels. So I'm just going to basically put that edge there and just kind of stick it right through. And so I can feel that is not pulling it back. And as you can see already, before I even have it there, like the actual, the resistance on it is a lot more. You can push it down a little bit harder, but that is going to be perfect, I think, for what I'm trying to do here. And as you can see, even at this stage, there is minimal wobble there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pull back on the catch fully, and I'm just going to seat it further down. So how I normally like my stock is about there, depending on the actual stock. But as you can see now, that is solid. Now I can like move this, I can push it in further, I can pull it out further. May need 2 hands to do it, but basically that is going to mean it's a lot harder to put it forward and backwards, but it's going to hold in place. George! But it's going to hold in place. So I normally have my stock in the same place. I'm not normally moving it backwards and forwards, but for me, not having any movement in that stock, like you can hear, there is no jiggle there. So that is my little tip or trick for the day. It is adhesive Velcro using the soft end. You can just stick it in there, and then you have got your stock no longer wobbling. Hope that helps you guys, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any other questions about this, losing you there. If you have any other questions about this, let me know. But that is kind of my overview of how to get your stock not to wobble. I'll give you a little dry fire on this bad boy, just so that you get a bit of that. Bolt release. Such a good bit of kit, this. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you very soon on the next video. Goodbye.